Welcome back as we continue on in the Pathfinder Adventure card game in the Curse of the Crimson Throne. We are in scenario 2C, the Queen's Hospitality, and basically we are going into the Plagued Lands, following up on a clue. Our dangers are going to be the Grey Maiden Guards and the Queen's Physician. There is no villain, which means we will have to close each of the 3 locations we have here. For closing henchmen, we have Dr. Devalis, Roth Lamb, and the Queen's Physician, Proxy A. And also for setup, we have put in a non-closing henchman, Grey Maiden Guard, in each of the locations. We have our trusty base with our supporters. For the barracks, at this location on your combat check, we add a D4, but on diplomacy and stealth checks, difficulty is increased by a D4. Close a guard, succeed at a combat check with a difficulty equal to 5 plus another 4, plus the total number of monsters on all location deck list at the size built. So that is going to be a 14 check. And when closed, each local character may heal an attack, melee, or ranged boon. Next, at the hospice. This location, if you do not explore on your turn, you may either heal 1d4 plus 1 cards or remove one of your scourges. To close your guard, summon and defeat the Storybane Queen's Physician, and when closed, remove one of your scourges. And then the Nasty Blood Pool. After your discard cards is damaged, bury a card from your discards. To close or to guard, bury 2 cards, and when closed, heal a card. And that's why I'm going to save this one to last. We'll have Kira at the hospice and Kess at the barracks. And also during this scenario, when we encounter a Grey Maidenbane or Queen's Physician, we may succeed at a diplomacy, perception, or stealth 5 check to evade the encounter. If we do, we may reload or recharge the Bane into its location. And if we are successful, each of our characters will get a hero point, and the party gains a supporter feat. So starting with Kess, for a hand size of 6, we're looking for an ally. And we definitely have 3 allies, 2 blessings, and an armor of insults. And we will add our Harrowed, the Tangled Briar, to our hand. Then Kira with a hand size of 5, looking for blessings. So we have a blessing, an ally, an item, spell, and a weapon. And we will get our Trumpet Harrowed card. And for this adventure, we get to add a D4 to Constitution non-combat checks. And when we play our Harrow, we may heal an ally and may remove one of our scourges. So hopefully I can remember this. So we will start with Kess for the hour. No effect. Take a look in the barracks. Finding a blessing, needing intelligence, arcane, divine of 7. And with our skills, that's not going to be a possibility. So we'll just go ahead and discard that card. Then we'll go ahead and say a prayer, discard to examine the top card of your location, then we may explore. So we're examining, there's no triggered effect. We'll go ahead and explore. Need strength, dex, acrobatics, melee, or ranged of 6. Our melee is a D10 plus 4. So go ahead and roll. And we did not succeed. And kind of didn't want it anyway. So passing turn to Kira. For the hour, on her strength or constitution check, you may recharge a card to re-roll. And we'll take a look in the hospice. Finding a blessing, needing wisdom, divine perception of 6. Our wisdom is a D10 plus 3, or divine wisdom. So we'll see what happens here. Getting a 10, so we've received a blessing. And we'll go ahead and play a different blessing to discard to explore again. Finding a captive horror. Wisdom, disable stealth of 9. When examined, we did not examine it, so if undefeated, summon 3 new monsters, encounter one at the highest level, and banish the others. So our wisdom is a D10. We'll go ahead and play the blessing we just got on a check against a barrier, recharge to bless. And we'll see if we can get a 9 out of these two. Getting an 11, so we are good, defeating this barrier. Then we'll go ahead and use our hero deck. We can reload to examine the top 3 cards of any character's deck and return them in any order. We'll use it on our own, so we'll reload and then look at the top 3 cards. And we'll put them back in this order. And end of turn, we'll draw up with 1 card, getting our Viper Strike. And we'll pass turn back to Kess. For the hour, on your bless check, you may re-roll any dice showing a 1. Before I forget again, I'll go ahead and display our Armor of Insults. So when we suffer combat damage, we may recharge to reduce it by 2. And then go ahead and explore, finding a Twitch tonic. Needing intelligence or craft of 10, which is out of our range by a long shot, so we'll just go ahead and discard. And we'll go ahead and discard our gang enforcer to explore, and on our combat check, we'll get to add a D4. So, found a leech, wisdom, knowledge, and survival. Something else we can't get without more assistance, so this will just be discarded. And we will end our turn drawing 2 cards. Getting a Horn of Battle Clarity and a Bodyguard. Back to Kira. After discarding any number of cards as damage, we may draw a card. And she'll take a look in the hospice. Finding a prayer, Wisdom Divine of 3. Our Divine is already a 3. So I believe we're getting a prayer. Getting a 13, nailed it. So go ahead and discard to examine the top card of your location. Then we may explore. So there's no effect for examining, so we'll go ahead and explore, needing wisdom of 5. Wisdom is a D10. So we got a 6, so we found a crow. So Kira's getting everything, and Kess isn't having a chance. We'll go ahead and discard to explore, and this exploration on our checks to acquire, add a D4. All right, so we've got something that we could possibly acquire. Gem of Mental Acuity. Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma of 11. We've got a D10 for our Wisdom, so there's a chance here. Getting a 7. And we will discard the card. For our end of turn, we'll use our ability to recharge a divine card to heal a local character. So we will recharge our Viper Strike to heal one of our 3 cards here. We'll shuffle that in. And then we will draw a card, getting a Sonic Blast. Back to Kess. So for the hour, the first time you discard cards as damage this turn, recharge one of them instead. So looking in the barracks, we find Rolth Lamb, needing a combat of 15. So this is one of our closing henchmen. Before acting, a local character summons and counters the Storybane White. Then after acting, suffer the Scourge Drained. And if defeated by less than 4, or if undefeated, shuffle this monster into a random location. So first the white. We need a knowledge of 8 or a combat of 14. It's immune to mental and poison. Before acting, we suffer 1 cold damage. If undefeated, suffer the Scourge Drained. For the cold damage, see, that's combat damage only. We'll put down the priest for the cold damage. Then we'll be going in with our melee plus a D12. So we've got a D10 plus 4 for our melee, and then the D12. We'll go ahead and use our Horn of Battle Clarity to add a D4. That will be recharged. And I forgot, because of the hour, first time we discard cards as damage, we get to recharge instead. So this would have been put in before our horn. So we're looking for a 14 to defeat the white. So we've got 16 and 20. So the white is gone. Now on to Rolf, needing combat of 15. So that's going to be our D10 and a D12 plus 4. For the combat check, I forgot, didn't use that on the last one. We get another D4. We will play a key hero, which is not the blessing for this adventure, but on our combat check, discard to bless twice. So 2 more D10s. So looking for 15 minimum. Really like a 19 or greater. So 15, 24, 26, 30. So we've defeated him by more than 4. So after acting, we are going to become drained. So we'll add this up here. So now for closing, need to succeed at a combat check with a difficulty of 5, plus another 4, plus another 5, because we've got 2 monsters here, and 3 over at the blood pool. So we're looking for 14. Since it's a combat check, we will get a D4 for free. We'll use our power for our D10 plus 4 and a D12. I'm going to go ahead and play this blessing to discard to remove a scourge from a character or location. So we'll remove our scourge. And then after playing our hero for shields, we can draw a random ally from our discard to our hand. We only have 1 ally. Then on our check against a monster. So, yep, not a monster. We are closing, so we will recharge this for a D6. So we're looking for a 14 here to close out the barracks. So we've got 10, 11, 13, 17. So the barracks is now closed. We can go ahead and remove all these cards. See, there were some nasty monsters near the bottom. And we will go ahead and move over towards the blood pool. So throughout that, we did defeat 2 monsters. And when we defeat a monster, we may heal a card. So this wasn't in the stack at the time, so both of these cards would have been healed. So we'll shuffle those in. And then we will draw 4 cards. Getting a Spiked Gauntlet, a Luckstone, another ally, and our War Drum. So a pretty good turn. We'll pass on to Kira. So for the hour on your check, if no boons are played, it is blessed. Taking a look in the hospice, finding Frostbite. So Wisdom Divine of 8. Our Divine is a D10 plus 3. Got an 11. So now we've got Frostbite. I'm going to keep on exploring, so we'll discard to explore. This exploration on craft and disable checks will add a D4. So we've got Holy Light. It's a Wisdom Divine of 8. It's another D10 plus 3. Getting a 10. So now we see the light. So for a combat check, we can banish to use Divine plus 2d6. Check is against an Undead Bane. Use Divine plus 2d12 instead. Very nice. Then we'll go ahead and end our turn. We'll recharge a divine card to do some healing. So we'll shuffle this card back. And we still have a hand size of 5. So back to Kess. For the hour, when check against an outsider card, add a d4. Take a look in the blood pool, finding a termite swarm. So combat of 10 or constitution fortitude of 6. See, when examined, we did not examine it. It's vulnerable to attack. And if defeated by less than 4, shuffle this monster back into its location. So we're definitely doing some combat. Get us our D10 plus 4 and a D12. We'll go ahead and use our spiked gauntlet to add 1. And we'll go ahead and reload it to give us another D4. Because we want to make sure we get 14. So see what we get here. So 21, 26. We've cut it in thirds. So defeated a monster. That will allow us to heal a card. And then we will end our turn drawing a card, getting a blessing. Then back on to Kira. For the hour, when a check against a spell, we add a d4. It's a spell. So it's going to be divine for 6. So a d10 plus 3. Getting an 8. So now we've got a good omen. So we're kind of spell heavy, but it's divine, so we'll go ahead and use it to heal ourselves. We'll recharge. And then shuffle this back into our deck. And pass turn to Kess. So no effect for the hour. Taking a look in the blood pool, finding a sacred candle, wisdom divine of 10. Doesn't look fancy to us, so we'll just discard it. Go ahead and use our gang enforcer, discard to explore. And on our combat check, we'll add a d4. Finding a blessing, needing wisdom divine of 2. Our wisdom is a d4. Getting a 2. So now we're blessed. We'll go ahead and discard it to explore again. Finding a plague bearer, combat of 15. When encountered, succeed at a fortitude or perception 7 check or suffer 1d4 minus 1 combat damage, and this monster cannot be evaded. If undefeated, suffer the scourge plagued. Our fortitude is a d8 plus 1. Looking for 7. Getting a 4. So we are going to suffer 1d4 minus 1 damage. Come on, 1. Getting a 1. So we will not suffer any damage. Now we need a combat of 15, which is going to be our d10 and d12 plus 4. We'll go ahead and bang our war drum to give us a d4 and recharge. And since our hour is a 0, we will go ahead and play this. A local check, discard to bless. If the hour is 0, recharge instead. That'll get us another d10. Looking for 15 to defeat the plague bearer. Getting 21, 29, 33. More than dead. Defeating a monster has us heal a card. And then ending our turn, we will draw 3. Getting a light shield, a prayer, and our gang enforcer back. So passing turn to Kira for the hour. On your non-attack combat check, add 1. So looking deeper, we find Proxy A1, which is a closing henchman, the Queen's Physician. So we need a combat of 11 or Fortitude Stealth of 7. So Fortitude is a D6 plus 2. So we'll probably go with the combat. So resistant to attack and poison. If undefeated, suffer the Scourge Plagued. So since all our spells have the attack keyword, we'll use our Glorious Warhammer. So we'll have our Strength Melee plus a D8 plus 1. Our melee is a D8 plus 1. I'm sorry, D8 plus 3. Plus another D8 plus the 1. We have Kess say a prayer for us, giving us another D8. And we're looking for an 11. Getting 15, 19. So we've defeated a closing henchman. So to close our guard, summon and defeat the Storybane Queen's Physician. So another one comes back after us. We're going to do the exact same thing with our Glorious Warhammer. And we will use the trumpet on herself on a local check, bury to bless twice. So that gets us 2d8s. And this is our Herod, which will let us draw an ally from our discard pile. And we're looking for an 11 again. So 11, 15, 20, and 24. So we have closed this location and we don't have any scourges. So we will get rid of this. 2 cards left. And move over to the blood pool. Then we'll go ahead and use our cleric ability to recharge a divine card to heal a local character. And we will heal Cass. And pass turn to Cass. I don't want to curse myself, but things are going a little too easy here, so we'll see what happens. So when you fail a check, you may bury your hand and discards to reroll. And we will find Dr. Davalis, which is another closing henchman. So here, Wisdom Perception of 5, and then Combat of 9. If you have the human trait, the difficulty to defeat is increased by D8. We're Human Brawler. And if undefeated, advance the hour. So rolling a D8. So difficulty just got increased by 7. So Kess's Wisdom is a D4. And this is something that hasn't come up in my previous playthroughs. But when we have sequential checks and multiple people, basically our person that started it has to do one of the checks. But another local character can pitch in and help with another one. So we're going to have Kira jump in and help with the wisdom check. Perception will be a D10 plus 2. So Kira doesn't have any blessings, and neither does Cass. We only need a 12, so if I roll a 10 on this, slight chance. So we failed that check. So then we go to the combat check with Cass. It's going to be a D10 plus her D12 plus 4, needing a 16. Go ahead and use our special ability on a check against a monster where we didn't play a weapon or spell. Recharge an ally to add a D4 plus its level. Looking for a 16. Getting 11, 16 total. So we don't take damage from that, but we did not defeat, so we'll get shuffled back in the stack. I believe I just mentioned something about cursing myself, so there we go. And he advances the hour. So to end her turn, we'll go ahead and discard our bodyguard so we can draw 3 cards. Getting a blessing, a guide, and horn of battle cry. Passing turn to Kira. So for the hour, when you're checked to acquire a boon, add a d6. If you succeed, bury the boon. So see what we have here. Liquid Courage, Intelligence and Craft of 9. Our Intelligence is a d6, so we don't have the Courage. We'll go ahead and discard. We'll use our healing ability with a Divine card to let Kess, drop a card there, heal 1. Then we will draw 2 more cards. Finding a Snakebite Dagger and our Hero deck. So no blessings. So passing on to Kess. No effect for the hour. Take a look. Finding Yellow Eyes, Wisdom Survival of 8, or Charisma Diplomacy of 10. And I really don't have the skills to get that, and I'm not going to waste any of my cards, so Yellow Eyes will keep on moving. I'm going to discard an ally and draw a card, getting a War Drum. So on Akira, no effect for the hour. Finding a Proxy B. So this is a non-closing henchman, so we need a combat of 15 or Charisma Diplomacy of 8. We will go for the combat, which will be our D8 plus 3. We'll go ahead and use our dagger, which will give us another D4 plus 1. And against an animal or human bane, this is human, we can add another D8 and the poison trait. So looking for 15. Getting 9, 13, not a 15. So we need to take 2 damage. It's going to be our Hero deck and our ally. And this will get shuffled back into the deck. And since that card was undefeated, we will shuffle a new barrier into that location. And end our turn by drawing 2 cards. Whoops. Finding 2 blessings. So on to Cass. No effect for the hour. Finding a Strangler. Combat of 10. Cannot be evaded. For acting, succeed at a Strength, Dexterity, or Acrobatics 8 check. Or you cannot play spells this encounter. Not too worried about that. Do not suffer damage from this monster as usual. Instead, bury the 1d4 cards of your deck. And I'll go back a step for Kira. When we discarded for damage, we need to bury a card from those. I don't know if we get to pick or if it's random. We'll just go ahead and make it random. So we lost our Hero. Now back to our Strangler at hand. Our Strength is a D10 plus 1. Getting a 3, so we cannot play spells this turn. But for a combat, a D10 and D12 plus 4. Go ahead and bang our Wardrobe to give us a D4. And we're looking for a 10. Getting 23, 27. So we've defeated a monster, which lets us heal a card. And I think we'll go ahead and discard our armor and draw a card to end our turn. Getting a blessing. So passing turn to Kira. On your check, you may recharge a card to replace all D4s with D6s. And we'll take a peek inside. Finding the good doctor again. Wisdom perception of 5. Then a combat of 9, but we're going to be adding a D8 to this. So hopefully we can roll a little worse. So got a 2 this time. So now we need a wisdom perception of 7 and then an 11 of combat. Our perception is a D10 plus 2. We'll go ahead and let Cass bless this. Giving us 2d10. Getting 5, 6, 7, which is exactly what we needed there. And now for the combat. We'll go ahead and put this guy in a death grip. So we get our divine plus 2d8. So our divine is a d10 plus 3, plus a 2d8. We get to ignore any after-acting powers. We'll go ahead and have Kess sound her horn, giving us another d4. And then Kira will bless, giving us another d10. So looking for an 11. So 11, 17, 25, 27, and 30. So we defeated another closing henchman. And now we just need to bury 2 cards to close. We have 3 cards in hand. So we'll bury 2 cards. And we have defeated the Queen's Hospitality scenario, which means we each get a hero point and the party gains a supporter feat. So for the supporter feats, we'll just go through here. I think we'll just go ahead and give that to Eamon here. We may bury to draw 2 new items and then banish one of them. So that is done. For Kira, since we are at level 2, we can only have 2 things marked in each column. So we're done there. We've got 2 in this area and 2 here. So she's just going to get a hero point to collect. And for Kess, we have 2 in skills, 2 in her powers. I think we're going to add another blessing to her hand. So she'll have 1 more card. That's it for the Queen's Hospitality. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough. So click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.